Hello, good afternoon and welcome back. St Johnstone 1, Rangers 2. And joining myself, Oxford on the show is Port Bear. Thoughts?
2-1. Good response after going a goal down, mate. And we're top of the league.
Good point, well made. I know St Johnstone have only got 3 points, but they've only lost one up to the day. Stuffy team made it difficult for us. You've seen everything that's wrong with Scottish football, slowing the game down, time wasting at nothing each way, 70 minutes to go. I don't get it. It's hard to get a rhythm, Port Bear.
Aye, mate, you know, they play that. I mean, it's like 5 at the back, and it's 3 centre halves, 2 wing backs. So they don't act like wing backs. They're not bombing forward, mate. They're sitting in. So it makes 5 at the back. Then they've got 3 in midfield, and then they've got Halloran up front, and then the other boy, Kane. And they defend for their lives, mate. That's what they do. But like you're saying, you know, if that's an advert for Scottish football, no wonder it's the status in.
Aye, it's the pace of the game, mate, and it's not a game of football. You've got a lot of background noise going on there, mate. Right, but you have to take what's on board. You have to play. We lost a goal. All right, Hollander, he got a ricochet, O'Halloran, and tucked it away nicely. But what pleased me most of the whole game was the response after that, Port.
Aye, definitely. You know, we showed fight, spirit, and a bit of steel, mate. I like the wee sort of, you know, stramash in the box after the penalty. I think that, you know, fired us as well. Showing they're going to, you know, fight for each other and stand up for each other. So it was a great response.
You know the one I could never get with that, Port Bear? If you've lost the goal, the other team can get the ball as quick as they want, put it in the halfway line. If you take ages to walk up to centre, it slows the game down anyway.
Yeah, that's true. One thing that annoyed me about that as well, mate, see when Morelos ran up, and he was actually trying to put his 2 arms in to split them up, and Liam Craig actually has been hit with Mike Tyson and hits the deck and Hodges' face. I mean, I didn't like that, mate. I don't like that.
He dived, mate. He dived and he tried to get off his centre half. Yep,
disgrace.
Yep. But a 2-1 victory, and I'm looking forward to hearing what Bridge makes of the referee's performance for time wasting on Monday when we hear a view for the Bridge, yeah?
Aye. Yeah. I'm sure he'll have a lot to say about Mr. Willie Collum, mate. Yep, definitely.
Aye. Definitely. I know. But it's a good 3 points, and we're sitting top of the league, yeah?
Aye, that's the most important thing, mate. We're back where we belong. That's you know, like I said in the first half, it's up to us now to go on our run and stay there. Mm-hmm. Because obviously we've got the Edinburgh Derby. If that ends up a draw, we stay there. So, and it's likely to be a draw, mate. So we just want to. Could be. Aye.
Yeah. Aye, could be a draw. Aye. So, well. Just give your quick thoughts on the match quickly before we open these phone lines, yeah?
I mean, I thought from, you know, 1 to 11 we were pretty, very, in fact, very poor the first half, mate. We looked disjointed at sometimes, you know. We couldn't get
Put your finger on
it. Again, mate, I think it's just because these guys are just coming back together. They've not played much together. These guys are all just coming back for injury. I don't think St Johnstone help with the style of their play. I don't think that helps Rangers at all, or any team that tries to play football and get the ball down and play, you know, naturally. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a mixture of both things, mate. I think we're still trying to get a bit of consistency. We're still trying to find our first best 11. And I think it's as simple as that, mate. And St Johnstone didn't want to play. They were defending for their lives, mate, for the minute that it was kick-off. Mm-hmm. That's probably about it for me.
I couldn't understand Ryan Kent when he was playing in the first half. I thought he'd a far better second half, more effective. I know it's difficult for him. He's getting fouled and harassed the whole time, but when he's getting the ball in these central areas, for me, Port, there's too many players about, you know.
He's going into dead ends, mate. If you ask me, that's what I would call that. He's running into a lot of dead ends, taking the ball in central positions where it's jam packed with their midfield, the three centre halves. He's got to be hugging at either touchline, in my opinion. Again, I think Joe Rebo should be getting forward a wee bit more. Glenn Kamara could probably get forward a wee bit more, because we didn't need all them guys back at some point today. Again, I think we were far too deep at times.
Mm-hmm. No, I get your saying. I mean, I thought Glenn Kamara had a very quiet game for Glenn. He sets his own standards, and I didn't think he quite reached them today.
No, definitely not. I still think we're best left sides when Barisic's, Glenn Kamara and Kent's there. Although I don't think Baris had a bad game.
He did show his rawness, didn't he? Particularly,
I did.
Near the end. In fact, to be honest with you, I thought the last maybe 5 minutes of normal time and 5 minutes he was blowing Big Bassy, because maybe not played a lot of football. Right, we'll get them on, see what people think. Yes?
Aye, 100%, mate, 100%.
Right, let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Aye, but a good 3 points, Port. The performance, when you go top of the league, and if we keep this run and keep going on a long, long run, hopefully the springboard to the league title, you forget about the performance in the first half of the day, and some of the second half as well. You just remember the results and Tav's wonder goal.
Aye, all that matters at the end of the day, Oxshare's a W in the win column. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter how you win, as long as you get the win. And then, to go into a season title, winning a team, with how you win properly is, you might not win every game 4 and 5, 6, 3-0 times, Oxshare. Sometimes you're going to need to grind out 1-0 results. Walter Smith done that with his teams plenty of times, ground out results. When we're backs against the wall, injuries, etc. But they still got the job done, and that's what Rangers did today. It was a professional performance. They got what we all wanted, was 3 points, and sometimes you just can't play your free-flowing football as much as you want. But you guarantee you'll see a different game when any time we play in Europe, mate, because it's so different to what we're used to playing in the league. Absolutely night and day, isn't it?
Aye, but what worries me is that teams are setting up the same. That was the exact same way Dundee United pretty set up, wasn't it? Pretty much so. Yeah.
Aye, that was a blueprint, wasn't it? That was a blueprint in Scotland, especially in Scotland. 5 at the back, yeah.
We need a bit more tempo in our game, a bit more width, and sometimes when we are passing it out to the fullbacks, they're 2 yards away from you passing it. They're not exactly adding width. The width's already there. So, listen, I just think there's a wee bits and pieces just to get oiled, and then hopefully the springboard to go on a right good long runs there. And I hope Big Phil Hollander gets well soon.
That looked boring, mate. I mean, it doesn't give me the impression he's the sort of guy that stays down, the way he is. And then just reading his body language, holding his, Bridges' nose and his forehead. Obviously, it looked a bit serious when he was going off, mate. So I hope he's all right.
Mm-hmm. All right, tournament guys, it's all right. We'll be joined by Andy for Leeds.
Good evening, boys. The way I seen that was we just don't seem to be figuring out, the big physicality and the way the team want to play at the beginning there, right enough. And, they were never going to let us. If you look at the game and it's all, they kept the ball in the air plenty of times so Rangers couldn't get a passing game going. Quite physical, not enough urgency. Then the second half come. Big Islander there, I thought he could have done better for stopping him from getting the shot away.
He could have done, mate, and he was on.
Yeah, and then I think they played into our hands a wee bit after when we got back in. We started playing after they scored. We got the penalty, and then they wanted to get physical, and I think that riled Rangers up to let us go back and get the result that we got. Cracking goal by Tavernier.
Magic goal, eh? Magic goal.
I was pleased with it because, you see, for me, Ox, right, we're not playing well. We're not getting a spine of a team at the moment with COVID problems and things that's going on. But see, at the end of the season, we win the league, you look back on these games. These are the games that win your leagues. Mm-hmm. We're not happy or out like that. But that's 4 wins out of 5. I said to Shugs at the start of the season, we could take 4 out of 5. That's us up and going. So, we might be not happy with the way they're playing at times, but at the end of the day, you can't knock that. We're there now, So don't matter who wins tomorrow. I couldn't care less. A point's nothing. We'll catch them if we want them, or when we want them.
it's all about going on a long run now and getting the W's, as Port Bear said, mate.
Yeah, well, it's just it's that what we said about all week as well. No point going and beating the filth and then, tossing points today. Well, for me, I'm a happy man there because, we stood up. It wasn't great. You're thinking there's another weekend tossed away there right enough, and I had got a big do plan tomorrow, so I'm thinking, I'm not going on that. But I'm quite happy now, so I'm going to get absolutely. I'm going to get absolutely burnt today, and I'm going to get burnt tomorrow. But no, we've got to be happy with that. We stood up there, and that 2019, as Gary said there. We would have tossed that, we'd have drawn it or lost it. So, we're in a different place now. And we will get better. We will start playing football. It's inevitable. We will hit with straps and we'll start taking these teams out.
We've played some decent stuff at times, but it was all, when we got up to the last third, that's when we passed it nice. There was some decent moves, some movement. At times, everybody was involved, Davis, Aribo and Kamara. And then sometimes we were just a bit pedestrian in the final third. I don't know what you thought, Port.
That's what's for me, Oxjare. It's the decision making in the final third. It's that final pass, the killer pass. I don't know if it's a confidence thing. I don't know, because some of the deliveries for David Tav and some of the deliveries from Bassady were pretty, bang average. If I'm going to be completely honest. But I think the final decision making, mate, for me is frustrating because it's either the forwards only making the passes that the midfield are expected to do, or the midfield are just totally off it now and not finding these guys. It's one or the other, mate. Either the midfield aren't providing the passes for the runs, or they're not making the runs that the midfield expect. It's one of the two problems, mate.
In the first half, mate. Sorry for cutting across you.
Yeah.
In the first half, I think that the ball was lucky if it was on the park 20 minutes, mate. It was just they took an age to do anything, throw-ins, kicking it out. There was one that summed it up for me when the ball was about a foot or a yard down the line, but there was a throw-in and the boy kicked out the stadium near enough. It's a booking. And then you go on with the game. It's obviously deliberate to slow the game down so that we can get a rhythm and they make sure they've always got their negative shape. Port and then Andy.
Aye, mate, it's absolutely horrible football, mate, honest to God.
But people say it's good management for the opposition when you're dragging somebody down to your level, but it's no great to watch and it's no great for Scottish football. No one of their stands are empty here.
No, and that's what they'll say. They'll say, Callum Davidson
just won 2 cups, mate. 2 cups.
Well, that's what I was going to say to you. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. A double winning team. The stadium's empty. As you said, 10 minutes, 15 minutes in the game, they're booting the ball at the stand. I don't know if you noticed this either. There was no ball boys in the park.
No.
There's a couple of times Bassett had to jump the holdings to get the ball himself. Is that another ploy to slow the game down? Because they know Rangers rely on tempo and quick movement. Mm-hmm. It's just any edge, mate. It seems to be any edge they'll use, and that to me, that's. I keep saying it, mate. No wonder the game's in the state it's in because these teams are absolute murder to watch.
And they've had 2 cups. Andy?
Yeah, absolutely agree with what Pot said. It's kind of stayed my thunder there right enough. I was just going to say that. I mean, have they only got 2 balls at that stadium today, by the way? Unbelievable. The amount of time that they were taking to get it off there. And I mean, I get at the back end of the game that you're going to try and buy a bit of time, especially if you're winning or you're drawing right enough. But 15, 16, 20 minutes into the game, and you're kind of slow the game down and do what they do. I mean, all right, you kind of expect it. These teams are going to do it, and their manager has obviously installed that into his tactics, But again, we have to sort of, all right, if you can't get a ball or wasting time, there's nothing we can do about it, but we have to be a bit more savvy about what we do when we've got the ball on the pack. We've got the players that should be taking them out. It's the right times, but the decisions we're making at times are not cute at all at the moment, which is kind of a concern. But again, I genuinely believe when we get the right team or what he thinks is near enough his right team, we will start coming good. And, I'm taking this for me, right? We're not losing games. We're winning, we're picking up points. We've cemented after the Old Firm game. I'm in a very good place as that side of it goes. Just start getting the games. I think the Big Island, I think he could be out on Thursday right enough there. So we could be looking at Balogun and Simpson.
It looked like his knee, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, if you looked at his face when he was sat down, he was more or less saying, "Oh, this has gone again here." You could actually see the expression on his face there, But so that means that you would probably have in Balogun and Simpson as your two central defenders.
But if you bring that young boy Ashford in, Ashford and Simpson, they'd be solid.
Hey, come on, the Zinks is starting to hit in there too good for me at the minute.
Sorry about that. I apologise.
Who was she on about? No, look, if we come good. I mean, we've got to be happy with that. I mean, when they started carrying on, that was good.
What did you make of that goal?
Oh, well, he meant that. If you again watching his, he got the ball there and he looked to size the goals up and he went for it. That was great because I was kind of a wee bit disappointed. Saying to myself, "Oh, come on, you're a club captain. You missed a couple of penalties. Stand up, now. We're 1-0 down. Show some captaincy." But no, I was impressed with that. That was a good goal. Played well. First 20 minutes, I thought he was honking right now. He couldn't get the ball above the guy's knees.
Couldn't get the ball past a man or
a
decent ball in.
He grew into the game, didn't he? I thought he did anyway.
Mm-hmm. And I've got to say, I know it's only cameos. Sakala showed a bit of pace, and Lundstrom kept his head and obviously made a good pass to Sakala, who just went a bit early, didn't put it in. Good save by the goalkeeper. So a wee bit of promise there, nothing major. But anyway, talking about guys who have always full of promise, George EK. How we doing, George?
I am happy, mate. Happy with wins, man. After that disjointed, discombobulated first half, I'm talking about.
How are you spelling that?
just don't even go there, mate.
That's what London in his alphabet soup box, yeah.
I nearly slept in for it, mate. You know what I mean?
You're not the only one. If somebody's mate hadn't stamped his card, Port would be his quarter.
But anyway, I was slating Tav. Mate, couldn't get the ball by the first man. No, I was like, no way, man. But that goal was a belter. The one just before it, when he put it on the bar, I thought that was a goal. But what can you say about the shot? It was an absolute cracker, by the way. You know what I mean? No keeper saving that.
Was it a cross or a shot, guys? Was it a cross or a shot?
Oh, it was a shot, mate.
It was a shot. You could see he lined his body up and he was shooting. You know what I mean? But I'll tell you something, by man. I don't like getting caught with that ball or a tap, by me. And see that boy? I was worried about Hollander, by me, because see that Simpson? He just looks so hard-placed, doesn't he?
It doesn't install a lot of confidence in you.
Exactly, mate, man. I'm lying to myself. Oh, my God.
Let's see where we go, and hopefully, I don't know what obviously, Gerard confirms that we told you first in Rangers Radio it was COVID-related, yes?
Yes, yep.
Yes, got it first here, didn't you?
Do you know anything? Gerard waits just a wee bit too long to substitute?
Who was his first substitution there? His first substitution was Simpson for Hollander, yeah?
Yep.
Then it was,
and then he took Morelos off.
Lundstrom, then Lundstrom.
No, not really, mate. I never really thought about it. I'll think about it, George. I'll think about it. I've never really thought about it. I mean, obviously, I agree with you that Tav didn't start the game right, and I didn't think Kent was brilliant in the first half and playing, and I said Kamara was quiet. But Kent grew into the game, and so did Tav. And we're slating them, maybe we're sitting there watching it, you're getting annoyed with them, frustrated, and you know they can do better, and Kent goes and gets a penalty, and Tav gets a winner. So what do I know, you know?
Exactly.
Kent also got the assist for Tav's goal last year.
Yeah,
it's Kent that slips it to him.
No, you're not getting that. How can you get an assist for that goal?
It's still good, isn't it? It's still good, isn't it?
Would you claim that if you passed the ball to me and I done that and put that in, you say I made that goal, would you?
I would say it's an assist, yes, I would. Yes, I would.
Would you do that, Andy? I'd say, away, get yourself lost.
Assisted by Fort Bell to Oxford, yes, definitely.
Anyway, I don't know. Well, joined by Carl. How are we doing, Carl?
Oh, great. Good result. I was talking to Fox there.
I mean, we're not talking about Ryan Kent never hides. I wish he'd had in the first half. Because he gave more boys to St Johnson, more passes for St Johnson came to Ryan Kent than anybody else.
He wasn't great, mate, in the first half. He
wasn't great in the second half either. I mean, don't kid yourself on. He got that penalty because he'd lost control of the ball. In my opinion.
I thought he was better in the second half than the
more effort, aye. But dismal performance, good result. And the boy Simpsons coming on at that time, they were in ascendancy. We can't calm down. Our team can't calm down. We can't hold a result now. We're absolutely bricking it when another team gets the ball. I don't know what's wrong.
No, it's the old-fashioned up and under. They'll punt up a park.
I know they punt up a park, but another thing, maybe it's time to get a word with Bassey about his haircut, but he cannot heed a ball apart from straight up in the air.
Big Bassey showed he's still got a lot to go.
He has a bit raw, isn't he? The other thing is, Goldson, I was quite glad to see him out the team today. You've got to get another pair, and you can't rely on one man all the time. You cannot. Yeah. And I thought Balogun played well. Hollander, I actually tried to read his lips, and I'm sure he says that's my effing knee. Because I speak a bit of Swedish, you know.
Aye.
Obviously.
I know you did. I know you've watched a lot of Swedish films.
I did not actually, because it's hard to read the subtitles. You know what I mean? When you've got other things in the day, you know.
Aye, I think you're being a wee bit harsh, mate. I think it was a poor performance at times. But I think when Rangers needed to step up, they did, and we eventually got ahead and we held the result.
Excuse me.
Sorry, mate. Aye.
It's all right. You'll batter into other players that you don't like, but holding the result shouldn't be for Rangers against St Johnson. I'm sorry. We stepped it up. We should be stepping up the minute they go in the park.
I totally agree with you, mate. But unfortunately, and this is what said by Gary McAllister before the international break, Steven Gerrard's not the same team to pick for 3 games in a row. The team's still gelling together. I know it's just quite a lot of the same guys still there, but there's a lot of new players still there as well. And they're all at different levels of fitness through COVID, injury, etc., suspension. You know, so I think they're still trying to find their feet, and he's still trying to find his best 11. That's only my opinion, of course.
My opinion is the international break, is my opinion. It's diabolical. That was 2 weeks of nothing. Oh, they always come at the wrong time. they stop your fluency. You've got to start from scratch again with injuries, COVID issues. You know what I mean?
We won against Celtic, but we weren't great. I mean, we were a better team, but we weren't great. But listen, I'm going to go to Andy with us. We showed a lot of character, but the fact that we went a goal did it and we come back and won 2-1, it's a positive.
It is a positive.
Your name's no Andy.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, well, as I said at the start of the show, that's what I'm taking out today, right enough. You know, a couple of years back, we would have blown that. You know, we just wouldn't have been up for the fight. But we did. We stuck in there, and you know, across the course of the season, you will get games like this. But if we're coming out of these games winning and taking the 3 points, that's taking us forward, and that's where we all want to be. Of course, we want to come out and play like we know we can play, but you're never, ever, for no matter whether we were on 100% top form the other day, you're never going to get a fluent game against teams like this because they don't allow you to play. They keep the ball in the air, they're physical, they'll length of time it takes to get the ball back in. So you have to take the positive. You know, look, I'm not kidding. We wasn't great. We've not been great all season. Let's not kid ourselves. But we're picking up points, so when we come back good, hopefully, then the good stuff that we expect of our Rangers and the fluency of the way we can play, that will all come into place. So at this moment in time, although we're disappointed, you've got to take the real positive out of it, and you look at it as we stand. We're on top of the league, not really playing or anywhere near our form. So I'll take that at the moment. You know,
Cheers, mate.
It'd be a wish show if we'd have drawn that game. We'd have all been going nuts. So, you know.
Aye, we won. George, UK, what's your thoughts, mate?
Oh, the way I look at it this way, that's how champions win leagues, by you know what I mean? We're not playing that good, but still eking out results. You know what I mean? And that the day, man, we won since the start of the season. we're just nowhere near as last season. We're still gelling together, know what I mean? And that will come. I believe that will come in the next few games, by man. Because at the end of the day, as I say, if you're not playing that good and you're still winning games and coming for a goal down to win 2-1, know what I mean? Shows a bit of character in the team, know what I mean? And I think the fluency will come, know what I mean? Because they were definitely missing something in the midfield to forward 300%, know what I mean? It's just not quick enough. The passes are going to be a bit longer, a bit, you know what's up, they're longer, they're too hard, or whatever, know what I mean? But and I've seen that carry on the north today, man. The way they slowed the game down, players lying down, 2 boys in the pitch, man. No ball boys, no the rest of it, man. Honestly, that's just to slow the game down, man. So we're not playing one-touch football as fast as we can. But at the end of the day, man, you know what I mean? It'll come. I do believe it'll come, and then you'll see the best of Rangers shortly. And I hope it's against Leon.
Yeah, Carl.
Aye. I'm here. Well, I hope it comes good against Leon, because I think it will come good, because I think you're playing against a European team that will try to play football and all, you know what I mean? Because I don't like... I mean, this is what we're up against in Scotland, but we should be better than that.
We should be, but we weren't better because we got the result.
We got a great result. I never says anything about the result, but the application of the players. I think sometimes Aribo slows the game down when he's in a good position to have a shot. He wants to take it one step too much, you know.
I thought Aribo influenced the game for the first 20 minutes, and then I thought he disappeared a bit.
Aye.
You know. But anyway, talking about people who always influence things, we've been joined by Robert Weatherall. How are we doing, Robert?
Robert. Good afternoon, Ox. Brisman, I was going to say they're Port Bear and everybody Rangers Radio. Ox, I'm ecstatic for 2 reasons. The 3 points and Captain James Henry Tavernier. Yes, my favourite man. Maybe the doubters will get off his back and give him a wee bit of slack. He didn't want to take the penalty because he did got a double the day, so he handed it on the roof. There you go. But mate, you know what? Let's not give the team stick. We know the first half wasn't great, and there was maybe only 1 or 2 players that could pass marks in the first half. Joe Aribo to me, I thought Joe Aribo did a good game. Thought we Kent came on, as you said, came on again. And they say, I thought Kamara was very quiet today. But you know what? The Rangers have won. That was a hard game. I was trying to wait here, Brisman, because they bullied us. They dragged us at the game. I thought I was watching a rugby game in the first half, the way they were pulling the Rangers players to drag them to the ground. So I can't wait here, Brisman's thoughts, because he'd have been...
I think we might have to get a new bleeper for Monday night when he mentions what we call.
It's going to be like me. It must have been like me at the half time. The steam was coming in my ears with that referee. I was shouting that, telling everybody, my boys, like, you need to calm that harp down. I said, calm that harp now. Let me get to that Willie Collum. Actually, I was a shocking performance for him. Shocking performance for that referee.
It's, listen, like in general, we want a fair crack of the whip and play by the rules. And I just don't know, some of his decisions baffled me, you know. Baffled me, they did. There was one he gave a foul against Roof when Ken got flattened about 20 yards outside the box. It was a blatant free kick, you know, and he didn't stop it and let it bounce to Roof and then gave a foul against Roof. That was the advantage. It was a foul. It's a blow.
That's what I thought, Ox.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, but you're right, Robert. We know we never played well, but it was all about the performance. And I did think Joe Aribo influenced the game for the first 20 minutes, and then for some particular reason, we seemed to get bogged down in the left, tight passes, and kept getting it away a bit. Not all the time, but it felt like that for a period of time. We were just not quite at it, but hopefully it'll come Port Bear.
And I know Cal's having a wee bit of go on Ryan Kent in the first half I was as well, but I thought, like yourself, we did come into the game. And one thing about him is he never gave up. He kept trying and trying. Find him then maybe coming off him, but I thought he came into the game in the second half. The same as a few other players as well. As I say, I thought Glenn Kamara was disappointed in him today. He's usually, you know what I mean? If he plays well, having been Davis play well, we tend to play well, but maybe that's that international playing all the games, Kamara and Davis. I didn't think Davis, Sir Stephen did his great game. He was okay. and big fall at the back. That goal, what was he thinking? And then Balogun almost sold the second one. If it wasn't for Tav putting the guy off, we were definitely going 2-1 behind. But you know what? We picked our shell up. We got a world-class goal. The Rangers won 2-1, and I'm over the moon tonight.
Brilliant. Couldn't have put it any better myself. Put better.
Aye, 100%, Robert. Good to hear you're on, mate. Hope you're well.
I'm good. Thanks, mate.
Aye, good, mate. Oxford, I'm going to ask you a question. Is there a problem with your forward line at the moment in finishing, or is it where the guys that provide the assists?
There's nothing wrong with Aribo. There's nothing wrong with the finishing. We're not making any chances. I think Roof effort was our first effort to goal about 39 minutes or something.
Aye, that's right. Yep. Aye, yep. I just think, mate, in the cold light of day, we seem to be struggling to make chances. I think for me, I think one of the worst performances of the day was Alfredo Morelos. I don't see the wee man's been very, very on. He's caught on his heels. He doesn't look up for it. If Alfredo wasn't getting involved with Goldocks here, he was always involved with working the back four. Whether it be the physical side of his game, really going at him. And I made some nice switches to the left and the right today, but I think I'm looking at 2 of them, mate. And he's placed very disjointed, I think, from midfield to front. And he's not making the same runs. He's not playing at the same, he's not the same driving enthusiasm as he used to. And I think it's showing the team, mate.
What I've noticed, mate, when he's coming deep, they're leaving him. And then they're keeping their line, mate, for when he comes back in.
Yeah, and that makes sense. For certain half the day, I totally get why they're doing that. They're saying, we'll let go midfielders pick him up, let him go, but we'll get him on the way back in. I get that, because I don't want to break their shape. I understand that. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it's better. It's harder to stick where just stay where you are, Oxy. Maybe Shurimus coming deep. Maybe you just stick where he is and fight for the ball, and maybe the chances will come. It's only my opinion, but that's just how I feel on Morelos today. I think this season so far, we've had a bang average of Alfredo Morelos.
Ox, can I come in before I go?
Yes, Carl.
I'm only going to say, don't you think at times up front we're trying to thread a needle with a bit of rope?
Sometimes we overcomplicate it, and Port says where decision making's poor. Don't know what you thought, George UK.
I would totally agree with that, man. It's like we're trying to pure really difficult things rather than the simple things, you know what I mean? And it's just not coming off, you know what I mean? Alfredo, man, I thought Alfredo was awful today, honestly, and that's why I was talking about Sakala coming on before him, because I just thought Sakala would offer us a lot more than Alfredo was offering, because he wasn't offering anything. You know what I mean? We need our front three starting. He started firing off at 3 cylinders. It looks as if at times we're unsure, you know what I mean? Do you think that yourself?
I just think we need to start making more chances, right, Carl?
Aye,
always good to speak to you, mate. We'll catch you soon, mate. Yeah, Carl?
I'm just, as I say, I just don't know. There just doesn't seem to be clicking. It's all right saying Morelos was bad. Morelos has got to come deep. Look how deep Kent is. Whereas last season we weren't as deep as that. Maybe he's trying to tweak the system. But to me, the forwards aren't getting the ball they can run onto or nothing. You know what I mean? There's not a pass coming through. That's as far as I see. There's not a pass coming through.
Combination of both, I think. Combination of both. Hopefully it'll come. Right, Carl, always good to speak to you, mate.
I'm away anyway. Have a nice weekend, lads. See you on Wednesday before it or Thursday after it. Okay, bye-bye. Good night. God bless.
Yes, mate. Yes. Anyway, we'll be joined by Kenny. Afternoon, Kenny.
Good afternoon, Ox. There's George PK there. Yeah, a few other guys. Good afternoon, First of all, I'm delighted with the win. It was a hard-fought win, But that team that did rejoice. That would get football shut down, that type of stuff, you know what I mean? At times in that first half, especially, it was like 2 banks of 5, and I felt Rangers got it tactically wrong. There were too many times they were trying to play the ball through the middle. There was a lack of width for that team today, There was a game to me that was crying for right to come on. About half an hour into the game, you get the change. Try to play through a maze. And I keep my daughter sitting here watching that. Try and open the play up, getting the ball at the flanks, you know what I mean? And that, every time it did, it seemed to get down the left side and off over to the left. It was all congested, And that was a big feeling in the first half for me. second half, you just always felt something would happen, at the back, they would get the goal, and of course, Mr. Harlan scores it, But what I will say is, when they rallied well and showed good fighting spirit, to come back into that game today and win the game, certainly not a vintage performance by any man, but a worldly big task to win the game, But as I said, when I said the other night there, I was on that goalkeeper reverse. But the corner kick, and I seen him come up, I'll tell you before, I've had nightmares about this guy. I'm like, oh no, I can't even watch it. Because the way that game had went today, here we go again,
I don't think...
It was deja vu.
I don't think he'd only wanted that thought, but it never happened. Portbear.
No, I know.
No, it did not. But we can look at it today and think, this guy didn't play well, this guy didn't do this. But, Robert Weatherall's bang on. We still get 3 points. We're still top of the league. There is wee signs, probably from defence to midfield. It's just the final third that's just not coming together. There is signs it's coming. And when these guys all get match fit, I think you'll see more similar to the kind of football we've seen last season. The thing is with Rangers this year as well, we've got a target on our back. All right, Dundee United took the unbeaten one away, but every other team still wants to, beat Rangers, the champions. There's a target on our back, and everybody is going to try whatever way they can. Whether it be the dark arts, keeping the ball in the ball boys, time wasting for minute 10. They're all going to try it, mate. They're going to try to disrupt your season in any way they can. As we know, they've done it in other ways and means outside the football club as well, try to disrupt our season. Everybody's out to get us, Oxshire. It's the old saying, as Graham Zuna says, nobody likes us, mate, but we don't care. We just need to keep going and driving, and we'll go on to 56, mate.
I don't think it ever changed. I think Rangers rolling into town's the biggest game for most teams. Andy?
Definitely.
Andrew?
He's drinking his vodka.
All right, see me, I lost him. George?
I totally agree with Port, and yourself, man. Rangers rolling into town is the biggest thing, that I mean. And plus the money they make after and all the rest of it, they love it when Rangers come to town, you know what I mean?
By the way, I'm glad you mentioned that. I mean, they've won 2 cups, right? And how's their ground? We've come up there and took the 2 ends, 50, but a third of the main stand, and there's just still nobody there. How do they not just put them in one stand, fill it up?
Man. You really have.
What?
You've took the words right out of my mouth there, you really have.
Go on then, George.
It's baffling, isn't it? It's really baffling, man. A team that wins the Scottish Cup and the League Cup, by the way. Their whole ground's full of Rangers supporters, you know what I mean? They're lucky if they've got 1,000 fans there, you know what I mean? It's baffling, really is. At the end of the day, as I say, man, you know what I mean? Rangers roll into town. It's sad. And every game for every club, because we're the champions, is a cup final for every club against us, you know what I mean? Because they want to knock us off. That's all we're not talking about. We need to get used to that. We understand that we're the champions and every team's going to be like that. So we need to up to our game, you know what I mean? And play better football. And start, even though we won the game, we need to start playing the Rangers way. And I'm talking about that was a disjointed performance today. But at the end of the day, no matter what, I'm still happy because we're top of the league and we won. We have an absolute outstanding goal.
Latest for the Colt games. Rangers Colts are winning top of the league clash. We're winning 1-0. Tony Weston scored the goal after 9 minutes. Rangers win.
He scored quite a lot of goals, that boy, didn't he?
Aye. I think he's got about 8 for the season so far.
Aye.
Bonnyrigg Rose 0. Rangers B 1 after 9 minutes. Kenny, we've always been the biggest show in town. We know that, but we're just not quite at it. I'm not saying it's application. I just think there's some players that the passes aren't coming off. It's a bit slow. It's a bit predictable. I mean, we play well. We don't play like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but those starting games as well. The tempo. I mean, Rangers are a team that plays off high tempo. That wasn't any evidence today. The reaction after they scored was more like it. The tempo was up in the game, but their starting game's too slow. And we're going to get a lot of games like that this season. We had that last season, Motherwell Ibrox, that game, 2 banks of 5 more or less you're up against. And try to flip through. And if Rangers to be in that game are guilty of that in that first half, try to play it in, just try to cut through, you know what I mean? get the ball wide, you know. That's what I said to Scott, right? He was crying out for him to come on the day. I thought, you know, Tavernier, I mean, he scored that brilliant goal, but I felt some of his deliveries at times were shocking. His passing again, you know, it just was the rare, you know, but hopefully the goal. Do you not think Tavernier lacked a bit of confidence about him right now? The way he was last season, he'd take players on and get, you know what I mean? The ball seems he gets the ball, he seems to go sideways or back the way most of the time. And I noticed that again today.
I don't know if it's confidence, form, whatever you want to put it, but he certainly had enough confidence when he got an assist for Ryan Kent to score that goal.
A great assist for Ryan Kent, mate. I don't think it's confidence. To me, he was out. I'm led to believe he was one of the COVID ones. So I think he's also trying to find a bit of match sharpness as well. So these things will all come as the games come, and you know the more training works on the park. I said this on the show, Stu, if you remember. I said I think our forward players lack, you know, a bit of bravery, and I don't mean bravery as in throwing it at the tackles. What I mean is bravery as in taking a player on, driving at players, making a long bust and run, go beyond your strikers for our midfielders, and also the strikers need to be, you know, the same bravery. You know, don't take the next touch. If you're going to turn and go at the defenders, I think that's one of the problems we have. But our forward players, our attacking players, are lacking a bit of bravery, mate. You know, fear to make a mistake in case, you know, the people go on their back, etc. But if you see them doing it, at least you know they're trying. That I don't like to see Ryan Kent on the halfway line. I don't like to see Morelos running the way back deep, but they're running deep, mate, because they're midfield and they're getting the ball to them. I think that's the problem.
That's right.
Okay, I think that's a problem. Yes, mate, George.
What do you think of Lundstrom?
Oh, on the day's performance, okay. I mean, that's all he done. He came on, he done everything that was asked of him. Put a ball in for.
He's not the box-to-box midfield we're looking for, is he?
Well, I mean, you're correct in saying the jury's still out, George. I mean, you know, I don't know what position they'll play. I mean, he came on the day and went on the right of the midfield sort of thing, didn't he? You know, he's becoming the finisher. He's becoming the finisher, isn't he? He comes on to see games out. You know, I don't know. He's got to up his game and up his form and get in the team, George. And at the moment,
exactly, man. He's at Rangers, not at Sheffield, or whatever he's at. What team he was at the last time? Know what I mean? He's at Glasgow Rangers now. Everybody has to up their game.
Aye, but I don't think you can't. There's no criticism for him today. When did he come on? 5 minutes to go? 10 minutes to go? Something like that?
10 minutes to go or something.
Aye.
He had that. I mean, he had that good one from midfield. You know, busting one and the left side. I think it's the Callum in it. That was what you want to see for him. That sort of busting the energy. You know, and you know the box to box you're talking about. I've said it the other night there about him. You know what I mean? But that's what I want to see. That sort of long busting run. You know, he was unlucky. But to me, that was if it was offside, it was there. Quarter of an inch offside actually, but it still missed it anyway. But jury's still out with me, Lundstrom as well.
I think it'd have been good to see Sakala put that in, even if it had get knocked off.
Totally, I know.
Aye, I know. I think it probably as well it was offside because it was a foul, let's be honest about it. You know, he should have buried it, you know what I mean? But no, it's Lundstrom. The jury's still with me, you know, very much out, you know. But it's again, we hit this game. I said it the other night. You hit this game in the team for. Where do you play him? You know, right? You come on the right hand side of the midfield today. You're not going to drop Davis for him. So where do you play him? Or Kamara?
And Ryan Jackson on his way back.
And Ryan Jackson on his way back, Port. That's right, mate.
He's going to
where do you play this guy?
Ryan Jack gets back, isn't he?
It's a puzzle.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of the hardest decisions Gerrard's going to have to make every week. Who's his best three? And he's either going to need to just stick with his tried and tested best three. Once he gets his three, whatever it's going to be, they're going to be the guys. Or will he continue his rotation? I just don't know what he's going to do. Acuna's there as well, aye. You're right. George, you're right, you're bang on, mate. It's an absolute conundrum.
There we go, but we finished the game off with Bassey Balogun, Simpson and Tav was our back four. McLaughlin, arguably, only one of our back five we would take as automatic starters. Kenny, then Port.
Aye. I mean, you're surprised right away today when I've seen the team at 11 o'clock. It was absolutely stuck. I mean, I named the team the other night. I think I gave about 4 out in it. The back, I mean, the Simpson, going on, this boy Simpson, right? I know he's young and all the rest of it, but I must admit, he gives me the fear, this guy. He really does. He just looks nervy. He seems to get caught in the wrong side of players and all, and I'm not convinced of him, I just hope Hollander injury is not as bad as it looked, you know what I mean? I'm hoping maybe a twist or something, But you can't, I mean, I don't understand why he never played McGregor today, The Thursday coming up, unless he's got an injury as well. The back four would always be Tavernier, Barisic at left back. Barisic still, to my mind, the better of the two. In central defence would be Goldstein and Hollander. But unfortunately, I don't think we're going to have Hollander for Thursday. We don't like it. But the midfield is still the conundrum. This Lundstrom, where do you play this guy? Who do you have to bring him into that team? And up front, Morelos, disappointing. He just wasn't in the game. Ruth had a few fleeting moments.
It wasn't great either.
Maybe Sakala, it wasn't great, but Sakala maybe give him a go, But it's early in the season, we've grinded out a result. I think it was Port said earlier, it was a Wallace Smith type style grinded out win the day, and I'm happy to win the game,
And you come, Robert.
I don't think any said it, but after the match, the manager's pretty hopeful that he'll have Big Golson back for Thursday. Says it's just into the doctors and that, but he's pretty hopeful that he'll have him back on Thursday. But see, the thing is, we're talking about guys like Lundstrom and all that. What it is, whether we like it or no, and we're always going about this squad, and we have got a massive squad, and we've got a good squad. So he's going to consistent. I think he's going to continue to keep chopping and changing. I just think that's the way Stephen Gerrard is for guys to get minutes. So it is a bit hard on guys like Lundstrom and Sakala and this one or that when they're not really getting the minutes. You know what I mean? It must be hard coming on for 15 minutes here or 20 minutes here. But I'll tell you one thing, he's desperate to get Ryan Jack back. If you heard him again yesterday, he does nothing but praise Ryan Jack. And you know what? Watching that game today and watching the way they bully us and that's exactly what we need in. We need somebody, because we're still a wee bit soft in there, and I can't wait to get Ryan Jack back, because I think he'll make a big difference. And I personally think we need that. He'll walk straight into our team.
By the way, Robert, I owe St Johnstone an apology, if I'm being honest. They're not the only team with empty stands. Just south of where you live, Robert, there's a team with thousands of spaces in their stands. Oh dear, what a shame.
Oh, definitely. Oh, you see, before I drop it, can I just say 10 out of 10 to Rangers Radio for that wee interview you done with the wee Ulster boy, Chris McKee, I think his name was.
It wasn't me, mate. Yeah. It was Rangers TV we got it for, mate, yeah?
Oh, well, whoever, mate. See, when you played it, I didn't listen to the show live, and I listened to it back yesterday morning, and I'll say for 10 minutes, that got me going, and I actually watched the 4-1 game, and then followed up with the 1-0 game after that interview. That's how much, see the passion that boy showed in his voice. That's what a bear's all about. So I'll say good afternoon, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Take care, Robert.
Look forward to listening Monday. Take care, Jordan, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Great to hear Robert on the men, Port.
Amazing news, mate. Amazing news. I just hope he continues his recovery, because he's an absolute true bear. He's a great guy.
Well, when they're the day we've got the 3 points, could that be the Murrayville moment for last year, Kenny? Is that? I know it's a bit earlier in the season, but that's the kind of 3 points that move you on, isn't it?
That's exactly what I said. My daughter said to me, Dad, she goes, this is like the Murrayville game of last season. The one, the 3-1 game. I said, I know exactly, but that was at home, of course, but it was one of the games. It's a grinded out result. I'm not sure the stats on the game, but I think it's what they said on Rangers TV, it was something like 72, 73, something like that in their favour. The stats don't win games, but the problem with me is still with this, slow starting. It's not getting the high tempo. You're at their best when they're playing a high tempo pressing game. And they're slow off the blocks. In fact, it reminded me a couple of years ago, before we won the league last season, numerous games where Rangers always seemed to be a goal down before they started playing. Remember that? A couple of years back, and then they would start to come out, and play. They need to take a goal down. I don't want to get back to that again.
And that would be a criticism of the day, mate, or an observation would be more like it, George. But he's right. But we did react well when we lost the goal. We got 2.
Right. Aye, we did. And I honestly think it was a really bad goal we lost, to be honest with you, you know what I mean? Ball on the top, you know what I mean? Simple ball, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, the boy a lot holler and put it away. The rascal that he is, you know what I mean? But we are, but we're a bit slow, man. But surely we've got to pick up, by the way. We've really got to pick up. At the end of the day, as I say, we're still winning the games. Even though we're not playing good, we're still winning. We're still picking up 3 points, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, when we do start picking up, we're going to be up. And teams are doing that. Teams are slowing the game down to hang me. John Settlers, and they're doing a good job, you know what I mean? So we need to let them, you know what I mean, and go, we're not going to let this unsettle us. We're just going to keep the pace of the game going, man. And I honestly believe we're going to get better. I really do. We've got to get better. We've just got to get better.
Aye, okay. We will get better. I'm very, very confident in that, Port Bear.
I'm confident in that.
It will, mate. It will come. And, there's no way Steven Gerrard sets that team at Oxford and says don't go out and play with, tempo and pizzazzy. He'll guarantee blocking all week on that team playing with quick tempo and, the quick passing the way we always do usually play. But what doesn't help Oxford, I could probably count, 10, 12 times in the first half where Ryan Kent was persistently fouled and no bookings were made. They need to show some of these guys some protection, mate, because somebody's going to get really hurt. Ryan Kent must be the most kicked guy in Scotland, in my opinion. And these are other tactics that people use to break down, slow the game down. So the game's always stop, start. So that's another problem I think we have to deal with. And I think one of the boys touched on earlier on, maybe if we had somebody in our midfield that maybe, I'm not kick back Oxford, I'm going to say it, somebody that was a bit more physical back. It seems to be all one-sided, but Ken, we seem to take a lot off of teams. That's part of the tactic of. I think they talked about it during the week. I think as well as their formation, their 5-5-1. I think that's the way they set up. They set up with 3 centre halves, 2 wing backs, so that makes a back 5. So that doesn't really allow our wingers or our full backs to get forward because it's jam packed in there. So Rangers then try and come inside. And when you come inside, you're running down dead alleys because Ryan Kent comes inside and it's too congested in there for a wee man to do it. And it's pretty frustrating the way teams are setting up.
Do you think Gerrard needs to tweak the system a wee bit now? The teams are beginning to figure this out a wee bit more than they were before. Horses for courses. We need to just be a wee bit cleverer. Port Bear.
Aye. You touched on this, Oxford, didn't you? One of the shows I was on last week, you said, is that do we need to tweak the system? Do we need to look at if 4-3-3 is not working? I think you'll always start 4-3-3, but one thing I would like to see, and he tried it during pre-season, was a 4-2-3-1. If 4-3-3 is not working, then why doesn't he try and change it during the game? If plan A is not working, then what about plan B? But he seems to be hell-bent on his 4-3-3 working, and when we play it with standards we can and we not about the ball as quick as we usually can, no matter what formation any team plays in Scotland, Oxford always says, if we play, we win. And that I do still believe in that ethic. I just think it's just we're not at full power yet. I still think we're maybe two gears down from what we can reach. So I think we're just doing enough. 2.5, right? So we're just doing enough, I think, to win games. But they'll need to step it up as the league season goes on.
Well, gentlemen, we've reached that time in the afternoon where Fox is going to have to go and get ready for his night out. So don't knock it, mate. He's very consistent.
I'm not knocking it.
And thanks for joining us, George. Thanks for joining us, Kenny.
No problem, John.
Thanks for having it. See you later, guys. Bye.
Cheers, lads.
Thanks to Robert. Always good to hear from Robert. And of course, who else joined us? Andy and Carl. great to hear from them all, mate. But over to you. Your last word to you before we shut the show.
Aye, thanks very much, Oxford, for having us. A great result for Rangers today. Not the best performance, but the result that counts. A win in the column. Top of the league again, finishing this week. We roll out to Lyon the next game. Thanks for Terry and Fox in the background for helping us out with the show as well. And I'll speak to you all later, guys.
Cheers, mate. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back Monday. We'll be joined by Albert, and we'll have the view from the bridge. Thanks for listening. Stay safe. Take it away. Old School Blue.
Now we beat the Boers in Africa, the Chinks of Kathmandu, the Spaniards at Trafalgar and the French at Waterloo. We chased King James and all his gang at the Battle of the Boyne. That's why the Glasgow jails were torn. Glory, glory, Glasgow Rangers. Glory, glory, Glasgow Rangers. Glory, glory, Glasgow Rangers. The jails go marching on. Now we've seen the Glasgow Celtic and Brazil and Argentina. We've seen the Leeds United and the Sure mighty team. We've seen the best in Russia from the Volga to the north, but the